This is Scott the Fix-It Guy. Today we're dealing with a MIELE dishwasher that isn't draining, and we set the dial to off, and then we press then we set it back to a cycle. We press the start button. The first thing that should happen is it should drain, but it wasn't draining, so what I did is I disconnected the drain tube from the air gap up by the faucet, and I put the drain tube in a bucket, and now I can see some dirty water coming out. So I think there was an obstruction probably in the drain tube where it meets the air gap up by the kitchen faucet. So I'm going to not hook it back up to the air gap, but I'm going to hook it directly to the garbage disposer to bypass that air gap. I'm also, while I have this off, I'm putting my finger through the hole here in the disposer to make sure it's clear, to make sure there's no obstruction in there. Seems good. I'm going to look inside this hose too to make sure there's nothing caught in the hose. That looks good. So now it's just a matter of hooking this drain tube directly to the disposer and then tightening that hose clamp. I put a little bit of dish soap as a lubricant on the inside of the hose to help it fit over the disposer. Now I'm going to bend the hose up high in a big arc, and I'm going to use a zip tie to hold it up high so that water cannot flow backwards from the sink into the dishwasher. That's very important when you've bypassed the air gap. And now I'm letting it fill. This is one of the most common models. I'm pulling back the basket and I'm looking in, and the level looks good. The water has come all the way up to the bottom of the plastic filter handle, and that's exactly where you want the water to fill when the dishwasher's filling properly. So we know that's working, and now we're going to turn it on. We're going to set the dial to off, and then we'll turn it back onto a cycle. And then we'll press the start button again, and that should drain the water out. And now here at the sink we can see that it is draining really well, quickly and strongly into the disposer. So that solved the problem. So in this case there was an obstruction that was caught right at the air gap up by the kitchen faucet. And we got rid of that obstruction and we bypassed the air gap and went directly to the garbage disposer. Just got to make sure you have that big high arc with the drain tube so that water can't flow backwards back into your dishwasher. And that worked great. We got all the water out, and then we have a happy dishwasher again, and should be draining without future problems. So thanks so much for watching, and please subscribe when you get a chance.